everybody. I've really been missing you. So I've amassed my dogs. This is Piglet. This is Rosie. I've got Tigger down here. We're gonna read you a story, but first, let's do a song, shall we? The same song we do every time we start story time. So here we go. Come along and sing with me, sing with me, sing with me. Come along and sing with me on a sunny morning. Come along and clap with me, clap with me, clap with me. Come along and clap with me on a sunny morning. Next one, do you remember how to roll? Okay, here we go. Come along and roll with me, roll with me, roll with me. Come along and roll with me on a sunny morning. And last one, stretch. Everybody know how to stretch? I think Tigger knows how to stretch. Do you know how to stretch? Come along and stretch with me, stretch with me, stretch with me. Come along and stretch with me on a sunny morning. Looks like my dogs don't know anything about social distancing, but that's okay. We're gonna read the story Extra Yarn this morning by Mac Barnett. Does anybody know this? It's one of my favorites. So let's get started and see what we think about this. On a cold afternoon in a cold little town where everywhere you looked was either white as snow or black from chimneys, Annabelle found a box filled with a yarn of every color. Can you see those pages? Maybe my next recording will be a little bit closer up. So she went home and knit herself a sweater. And when Annabelle was done, she had some extra yarn. So she knit a sweater for Mars too. But there was still extra yarn. And when Annabelle and Mars went for a walk, Nate pointed and laughed and said, "You look ridiculous." "You're just jealous," said Annabelle. "No, I'm not," said Nate. "I don't know. I think he might be. What do you think?" But it turned out he was. Look what she made for him. Isn't that nice? And even after she'd made a sweater for Nate and his dog and for herself and for Mars, she still had extra yarn. At school, Annabelle's classmates could not stop talking about her sweater. "Quiet," shouted Mr. Norman. "Quiet, everybody. Annabelle, your sweater of yours is a terrible distraction. I cannot teach with everyone turning around to look at you like that." "Then I'll knit one for everyone," Annabelle said, "so they won't have to turn around." "Impossible," said Mr. Norman. "You cannot." Well, that sounds like a dare. But it turned out she could, and so she did. Isn't it gorgeous? Even for Mr. Norman. Look at that. He looks great in his nice colored sweater, doesn't he? So she knit sweaters for her mom and dad, and for Mr. Pendleton and Mrs. Pendleton and Dr. Palmer and even little Lewis. Look at that. Gorgeous. She made sweaters for everyone except Mr. Crabtree, who never wore sweaters, even long pants, and who would stand in his shorts with the snow up to his knees. "No sweater for me," said Mr. Crabtree. Funny guy. So she made Mr. Crabtree a hat. And even then, Annabelle still had, guess what? Extra yarn. So she made sweaters for all the dogs and all the cats and all the other animals too. Some people though, soon Annabelle would run out of yarn, they thought. But it turned out she didn't. So Annabelle made sweaters for things that didn't even wear sweaters. Do you see that? There's a house and a birdhouse and all kinds of things there that have sweaters that don't usually. Wonder if I should knit some for my dogs. What do you guys think? Do they look a little cold or bored maybe? Things began to change in that little town. Look how beautiful and colorful it's getting now, thanks to Annabelle and her never-ending extra yarn. News spread of this remarkable girl who never ran out of yarn, and people came to visit from all around the world to see sweaters and to shake Annabelle's hand. One day, an archduke who was very fond of clothes sailed across the sea and demanded to see Annabelle. Demanded is not a very nice word, is it? Little girl, said the Archduke, I'd like to buy that miraculous box of yarn, and I'm willing to offer you $1 million. No thank you, said Annabelle, who was knitting a sweater for a pickup truck. You ever seen a pickup truck wearing a sweater? I don't know, might look kind of cute. The Archduke's mustache twitched. $2 million, he said. Annabelle shook her head. No thanks. $10 million, shouted the Archduke. Take it or leave it. Leave it, said Annabelle. I won't be selling the yarn. And she didn't. Oh, I bet the Archduke didn't like that very much, did he? So that night the Archduke hired 3 robbers to break into Annabelle's house. Uh-oh, we thought that might happen, hey? And they stole the box and took it to the Archduke, who set off across the snow and sailed over the sea back to his castle. The Archduke put on his favorite song and sat in his best chair. Then he took out the box and he lifted the lid and looked inside. What do you think he's going to find? Let's see. Oh my goodness, it's empty. What do you think of that? His mustache quivered. It shivered. It trembled. The Archduke hurled the box out the window and shouted, "Little girl, I curse you with all my family's curse. You will never be happy again." But look at that. Looks like that little box found its way onto an ice floe. You know what an ice floe is? It's when a bunch of ice amasses on top of the water to create a little shelf, if you will. Looks like it's drifting back somewhere. I wonder where it's going to go. Oh, look who found that box on the other side. I think it was meant to be. It turned out she was. Look at that. I hope you all have a lovely day today. I'll be back with another story again soon. Miss you guys. Bye.